I was watching a video from the Amazing Atheist. The exact video I was watching was called "Atheism and Death." He does pose some pretty good questions there. The link will be down here. But I have a few things to say. If you are an atheist, please answer me these questions. First of all, atheists, you try to claim that your ideas are superior to the theists, and what you say science. Science, is the way to do it, not philosophical hand-waving and bullshit. That's pretty much, there are tons and tons of atheists on YouTube. I should know. I'm a theist and I make videos with theist standpoints, so I should know. So I guess what I'm trying to discuss against, I'm not trying to say that your atheist standpoint is wrong. I'm trying to speak out against your atheist, you being an atheist, trying to claim that your theory is superior. Now, I'm not saying that. There are people on my side, on the theist side, who are going to try and argue to you how our theory is superior to yours. And first of all, I have a video not too long ago that I made. It was like yesterday or something, where I discussed that I don't think that we should be trying to claim superiority over each other's theories. The creationists should not be trying to claim superiority over the atheists, and vice versa. The atheists should also they should not be trying to claim superiority over the other one either. We should be using argument, science and argument, to try and discuss which one is more likely, not either philosophical hand-waving on the creationist side, which lots of us on the creationist theist side do, and not on the atheist side, not saying it's science, shut up, it's science. Because that's what I feel like a lot of what you say. You will say, shut up, it's science. Science is better than dogmatic bullshit. So I guess I have a few things that I want to discuss here. First of all, I'm mostly going to be referring to TJ, the Amazing Atheist, as to what he says in a lot of his atheist videos. In his atheist videos, he says things like, he kind of speaks out against theists and says, because God doesn't exist. He does not exist with certainty. And because there's no spirit in here, for sure, when this stops working, the factory's closed, he says. First of all, and then he says, science is better than all of the things that you have. Science is better than believing in a dogmatic guy in the sky. It's all fucked up and shit. That's something he said in a different video. Yeah, I've been watching him for a while, so I know a lot of his sayings. First of all, I would like to say that if you atheists would like to further your position, then you should stick to science with respect to two things: abiogenesis and cosmogony. Abiogenesis is some kind of scientific theory as to how we went from non-life to life and all places in between. There are a couple theories, like the theories of the vents in the ocean and the little droplets that are in the rock and such, but the one that I'm most familiar with is the primordial pool, where after the crust hardens, there was a bunch of all of these different kind of materials together, and thus you somehow gain adenosine triphosphate and such, and thus you get very, very slowly, but surely you get the very various pieces of cells and cell wall and all this stuff. Very slowly you get a cell, and the cells multiply and such, and thus you get your very small and simple beings that are life beings. So that would be some kind of theory of abiogenesis. Second, cosmogony, as to how we go from nothing to something. Creationism is one way to explain how we get from nothing to something. And the Big Bang Theory is one explanation as to how we get from nothing to something. The problem with the things like the primordial pool and the Big Bang Theory is that they show that it's possible that those things could possibly have happened. It's possible there's a primordial pool that led to no life to life, and that it's possible that there was a Big Bang Theory that led to nothing to something. Thus the beginning of the universe. Those theories show how it's possible that those things could have happened, and that's possibly how all this exists today. So when you say it's science, this is true, this is real, this isn't dogmatism, this is not philosophical hand-waving, this is not bullshit. You have not done all of your work, or your scientists that you put so much faith in, I mean not faith, but put so much that you depend on so much, they have not done everything. Because if you've done both those things, and proven that the Big Bang happened, that the primordial pool happened, that they happened for sure, or with 90% or higher certainty, then you could start talking like that. It's science, not your philosophical hand waving. But this has not happened yet. There's lots left to go. So you have not proven that the atheist idea of how the world and life came about is the way it actually happened. You have not proven that yet. Secondly, the amazing atheist says there's nothing in here except for what this is. There's no when I die I shed the cocoon and then I go somewhere else. This is it. When this is done, when this stops working, factory's closed, as he says. Second of all, that's a theory called physicalism or materialism, which is saying that there's nothing to a person, or there's nothing to a mind than beyond what this is. When this is done, then it's done. There's nothing else. There's no spirit contained in here at all. I personally believe that there is a spirit contained in here. Physicalism and materialism, or the philosophy that all this is here is just a meat carcass, nothing else. That is a philosophy which has not been scientifically proven. First of all, you cannot prove whether or not there is a spiritual thing in here. Science cannot get at whether there's a spiritual thing in here or not. There's no way for science to prove whether there's a spirit in here or not. That's beyond science's grounds. It's beyond it. So it's not possible to prove that at all. So when TJ says that, I was like, you haven't proven that. First of all, that's a philosophical theory, because science cannot prove whether or not there's a spirit in here, or if it's just a meat carcass where when this dies, I die too. And the last thing is this is not something I'm normally going to say, because it's kind of fallacious, or it's not really good to say. Normally you don't say, science is I'm not normally going to say, well, science hasn't proven that there isn't a God, because that's kind of fallacious. But here I would like to say that because, as a last point, I'd like to say that because TJ sounds so confident. I'm not saying it's just TJ. There's many other atheists who talk just like him, who sound so certain, like science has done everything for them, when it really has not done the things that you're saying that it has. It's proven that it's possible that these things could have happened, and it's proven that it's proven that there's no evidence for there being a spirit in here, when there's no way science could even test for that anyway. So, third of all, science has not been able to prove that no gods exist here. Science is not able to prove that either. Now, that's probably the last time you're going to hear me say science hasn't been able to prove that the gods don't exist, because I'm not going to say that in a theist debate, but I will say that here just because I think that my point mainly is that I feel like that atheists, TJ as well as others, are using science. They are taking solace in their science. They're taking the science as comfort because it's the most real and the most concrete thing that has been presented to them that they can grasp and hold on to. TJ sounds so confident that science has proven that these things have happened. He sounds so confident that science has proven that there's no spirit in here, and that science has proven that there's no gods, when science has done none of those things. So, in my opinion, because of these things that science has not proven, science has not done, it is my conclusion that I think that atheists take solace in science, and they feel like this is the most real thing that they can grasp onto, but them taking solace in science doesn't really do very well for their case, because that's kind of what Christians do. They take solace in religion. I mean, that's kind of a negative way of talking about it, but that's really what they do. So you taking solace in science is not a whole lot different, but it is different because you're taking solace in science having done things with which they have not done. So, in my opinion, atheists are not that different, and I think that atheists have no justification or reason or possible, even inkling of a reason or justification for claiming that their view of the world has superiority over the theist way of viewing the world. So, I mean, if you do have some place that some scientist has proven the Big Bang, cosmogony, proven the primordial pool, abiogenesis, or some place where science has proven that there's no spirit in here and it's just a meat carcass, or if you have somewhere where science is proving that there's no gods up here, then let me know. I'm pretty damn sure that you haven't.